I'm Jason Howell, and more than any phone I've used this year, this phone right here grabs everyone's attention. I'm in the mountains of San Rafael, California with the Motorola Moto Razr Ultra, $1,300 smartphone that folds with one seriously killer feature and one fatal flaw. I've used it for 3 weeks now. I'm going to tell you all about my time with it. And let's start off with the design, because no question, this is the nicest clamshell style foldable I've ever used. It has a beautiful, genuine wood back called Pantone Mountain Trail. That's the name of the color and the design. It's a really nice throwback, actually, if you ever saw the Moto X from like 10 years ago. Really nice callback to that device. I love the subtle Motorola logo that kind of appears there. It's got a nice satiny glass finish over the top, which I ended up kind of fidgeting with over time. Titanium frame is just absolutely gorgeous, feels solid. That extends, of course, to the high quality hinge that is included here. Everything feels just premium and sturdy. And you know, when it's folded like this, it fits right into the pocket. It just slides right in. You kind of hardly notice that it's there because it takes up such a small amount of space. And then when it's unfolded, when you're taking this out in public, you're gonna have people notice. Like, I had so many people stop me and go, hey, wait a minute, what is that phone? I had one person just the other day be like, is that the new Motorola foldable? Oh my goodness, I have to see it. So if you want a phone that's gonna catch some attention, definitely this is the one to get. And speaking of unfolded, I'll go ahead and tap my finger to the fingerprint sensor that's embedded in the power button on the side. And you can see the inside display is just huge. It's enormous. It's just so incredibly tall, 7 inches tall to be exact. It's a 22:9 aspect ratio, which makes for a real widescreen experience. The downside, of course, to this is that it's really hard to use the phone one-handed. You almost have to use it with 2 hands in order to reach all the distances. And let me tell you, throughout the course of daily life, you're going to be tempted to want to use it one-handed, and you just can't unless you've got enormous fingers that can extend all the way to the top of the bottom. You're going to be like me and wishing that you had just a little bit shorter distance when it's unfolded. Outside of that, this is a beautiful looking display. It's an AMOLED display, 165 hertz, so things are just flying and smooth when they scroll, and everything just looks really wonderful on the inside. When you're talking about the crease, of course, that's always consideration when you're talking about these foldables, and you can see there's not a whole lot there. I think the video shows more than you actually notice when you're using it. It just kind of blends in. You get very used to it being there. It's pretty much a non-issue as far as I'm concerned. Minimally visible, hardly even tactile when your fingers move over the top of that. But again, this is just a really tall display. Yes, you can fit a lot on here. It's great for watching videos and maybe reading long documents, that sort of stuff. But if you want to pull your phone out and use it one-handed, this is not the display to do that with. If you want to go one-handed, then definitely you're going for the cover display. This is easily this device's best feature. It's incredibly one-handed friendly. It just kind of cradles really nicely in the hand. Kind of feels like a futuristic device when you hold it this way and you're kind of, you know, swiping through on notifications and different apps and stuff. It's kind of like a miniature app environment. It's a miniature Android, essentially, extension of your inside display. And the benefit of this is that it keeps you from needing to open up your display to go onto the inside for the larger display that can sometimes be a little unruly. A lot of the stuff you can do right here. You can tap into your notifications and swipe them away and manage them. You can check out a bunch of the apps that you have installed on the device. And of course, if it's not meant or set up for the device, you can explicitly allow it like that. That way you can open it up, and now I've got Google Maps working on my cover screen, which is pretty sweet. So a few of the ways that I really use this a lot. One is definitely YouTube. When I'm at the dog park and I'm walking around with my dog, I would just have a video playing into my Bluetooth earbuds and have this cradled in my hand. I didn't feel like I was carrying around a phone with me. It was like this little miniature pocket device, and I could put it in my pocket when I need to and pull it out if I want to see what's going on. Really nice YouTube at the dog park use case. Also, notification triage. You get all of your notifications here, and of course you can swipe wipe them away if you want to. Camera access, so if I double tap that, I jump right into the camera, and the benefit of this is that you get the highest resolution cameras on the device, but you want to do this and then you get that higher res output, but it does kind of change the aspect ratio of your image, so there's that, but it's nice to have access to that. And then of course, you know, the standard things like you've got your calendar integration, or you've got your weather integrated, you've got a dialer, so all of your important contacts are there and you can use this as your dialing interface to jump right into it. Ultimately, I think this really encourages limited use of your smartphone, and like I said, it kind of feels like a miniature phone along with a normal phone that's on the inside, so it's kind of like you get two phones in one. It's pretty sweet. As for the software, this is running Android 15 out of the box with Motorola's Hello UI layer, which is pretty straightforward. I wouldn't say that it's entirely stock necessarily, entirely vanilla, but it's as close as I think you get these days with a little bit of extra stylings. You also get Motorola's well-known gestures like double swing to turn on, or I guess they call it chop, to turn on the flashlight. And then you also have twist 2 times, and that pulls up the camera. Little gestures like that that you can actually activate. But we gotta talk a little bit about this. This is the Moto AI button. It is, as it's called, an AI button. If I double tap, it jumps into a mode called Pay Attention, for example, which allows you to quickly jump into a voice recording. And then when I stop, that actually gets transcribed on the device and filed away so it becomes searchable. You can see it was a very short transcription there. If I tap and hold, it brings up the full menu, and I can actually tap into more actions to get more of a complete list of what I can do. Catch Me Up is a way to get a summary of my notifications. I found this to be pretty incomplete considering I have a lot of notifications here and it didn't read them to me. I also found that the summaries weren't always that helpful. They were a little disjointed and kind of hard to understand. Remember This is a way of filing away information about you, about your life, and I think ultimately that is information that can inform the AI on the device. This includes taking a picture of where you are and adding context about that, or taking a screenshot of whatever's on the display at that moment. Also included in this menu are Image Studio, which is, as you can imagine, a way of generating images, and then also surprisingly a playlist studio for generating AI playlists that only on my device taps into Amazon Music. Pretty useless if you ask me. Maybe that'll get built out at some point. All of these AI features can be run from the cover screen as well, which is a limited space to kind of interact with all those features. I'd say ultimately the suite is pretty confusing, kind of disappointing, and I hope that they really do some work to hone it in, sharpen it, and build it over time, because right now I'm just not motivated to use it at all. And you can't remap this button either for things that don't have anything to do with AI, so that's a little bit of a bummer as well. More disappointing though is the update situation. Motorola's update promises have never been amazing, and here on a very premium device, $1,300, you're getting 3 years of operating system updates, 4 years of security updates. So it's not horrible, but it's definitely not competitive with other phones that cost this much. It's the most expensive foldable of its type of a clamshell device, and yet it has little more than half of what competitors, from Google and from Samsung are offering on their foldables. So I think if you're paying that much, you kind of expect longevity, and Motorola needs to step up in that department. Now, as for the cameras, as this is a premium smartphone, you want your camera system to be good. And I would say that the main 2 lenses on the back are pretty good when you've got solid light. I love taking selfies with the front cover screen cameras because these are the better cameras, and so you can actually see the selfies right when you're taking them on the best lenses possible on the device. Low light, however, not necessarily the best. You get lots of smeary output, some grainy output. Nothing is ever truly dependable. Usable, yes. Dependable, not always. Overall, you get some digital artifacting with a lot of the pictures that I took, and the lack of a telephoto lens here is a really big bummer for the cost of this device. I definitely missed it on here. This beautiful, if not immaculate smartphone is impressive for a number of reasons. It's cutting edge for a clamshell foldable. And the cover screen, I gotta say, mwah, it's chef's kiss. But $1,300 coupled with a short update promise is a real tough pill to swallow. The camera system also isn't winning any awards for a premium smartphone. AI features, definitely a work in progress. I mean, if you're looking for a flippable, you have to consider the Motorola Razr Ultra, but it has some serious trade-offs that you also have to consider. What would you pay for a flagship of this type? Leave it down in the comments. I want to know what you guys think about the Moto Razr Ultra. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.